The White House rolling out a sweeping executive order today aiming to monitor and regulate the risks of artificial intelligence while also harnessing its potential. This marking the latest effort to address the rapidly evolving technology that has sparked concern among world leaders. Here to discuss is Nilay Patel, editor-in-chief at The Verge, and James Pethokoukis, economic policy analyst at the American Enterprise Institute. They're both CNBC contributors, by the way, and Eamon Javers, you know him. He's going to give us the latest from D.C. Eamon, why don't I kick it off with you? What did this executive order say?
Well, Tyler, it's a kind of a kitchen sink executive order from the Biden administration today. They're addressing a whole host of things and bringing in all sorts of elements of national power here, so to speak. They're using the Defense Production Act here in order to compel companies that are engaging in large-scale AI to share with them their safety testing results. That is, they'll have to come to the U.S. government and tell them how these things are testing. They're also going to invoke some standards and rulemaking procedures. They're also concerned about things like discrimination in AI and trying to make sure that there are federal guidelines around making sure that discrimination is not built into AI accidentally, so to speak. So it's a whole range of things here, and at the same time trying not to sort of squash innovation and the development of this new technology, even as they're trying to channel some of the safety and negative consequences of it.
All right, Nilay, what do you think of what the administration has proposed here? How sweeping is it? How effective might it be?
It is very sweeping, and it is pretty much a grab bag of things that, in particular, the industry has been asking for. And when you talk about effectiveness, we have a pretty dysfunctional Congress. We have the invocation of various executive authorities to make some of this go. But the place that's going to be the most effective is in letting the companies run. They have been asking for regulations here because they want to focus their competitive efforts in a dramatically expanding space. So if you know that if you're going to make an algorithm for landlords to screen potential tenants on a website, well, now there's some rules of the road, and the companies know inside of which boundaries they need to compete, and they can compete ferociously. So, Microsoft, Adobe, Google, they have been asking, OpenAI have been asking for regulations like this. I think this is going to give some stability to the market, and we'll see another wave of competition.
So let me ask you one more question, Neil, before I move on. This idea of somehow watermarking AI-generated content, is this doable?
I haven't seen anything that says it is doable yet. Last month at the Code Conference, which obviously CNBC helped us out with, I had the CEO of Getty Images, Craig Peters. He said, look, the problem is not marking the good stuff. The problem is finding the needle in the haystack. And the haystack keeps getting bigger with all of the AI-generated content we see in our feeds. So you got to develop some technology to actually consistently mark the content in a way that regular people understand what they're looking at and everyone agrees to use. And then you got to convince a bunch of people to care. I would put that right up against Mark Zuckerberg on the last Meta earnings call saying, I can see a future where our feed-based products have as much AI-generated or edited content as anything else. That's the future of these networks. Whether or not a little bit of watermarking can stem that tide, I think technologically remains to be seen. Culturally, wide open. No idea if that can happen.
James, I'm also curious about this angle here on international, where it says developing standards for working on AI with foreign partners. For instance, I think some of the options would be disclosure if a major other nation comes and says we want to do a big we want to run your large language models, things like that. What kind of international disclosure do you think is appropriate and why?
Well, one, I'm concerned that some of the countries that might potentially be involved, who are competitors, perhaps military rivals, may not be utterly forthcoming. I'm very concerned that these kinds of disclosure rules will rapidly become both internationally and domestically mandatory rules, not just to mandate disclosure, but mandate how these things are tested. Listen, we've been talking here about that this is like a gift to business. They're going to be so happy. Well, the people who may not be happy are businesses, companies, startups that don't exist yet. That now will have to compete with perhaps a highly regulated, paperwork-intensive, costly regulatory scheme that just a few weeks ago, it seems like, was voluntary. Now there's mandates. Now there might be more mandates on the kinds of testing. I think what we're seeing here is really a wholesale change in how America regulates digital technology markets, when our previous way, which is a light regulatory approach, gave America a lead in digital technology, and all the big important technology companies, I'm not sure doing something else is a great idea.
Eamon, I assume that the Biden administration wouldn't see it that way. They would say that they're just doing what they see as responsible and not using too heavy a hand here.
Yeah, look, their argument is you can't have the Wild West here in terms of AI because there are safety concerns that you have to think about with AI getting potentially out of control, AI involved in bioscience, AI involved in national security. And so you do need some rules of the road. And to Jimmy's point, yeah, that creates increased costs and increased friction for startups and smaller companies in particular. But I think if you ask the Biden administration, they would say, you know, this is something that we just have to do with this new emerging technology. We have to give some rules of the road here in order to prevent all these negative consequences from being built into the AI industry from the beginning.
All right. Gentlemen, for now,
they made like 7 Terminator movies. No one ever said, boy, I wish we had a light touch regulatory framework.
The concerns are science fictional. The concerns are science fictional at this point. Let's make
so
that
to be
clear.
clear, so Nilay, you think that we needed the regulatory framework to prevent the Terminator ending. And James, you think if we get the regulatory framework, that ushers in apocalypse now?
No, here's what I think, is that this entire effort is based on one kind of like regret that social media isn't more heavily regulated. I don't think that necessarily is a great idea. Or they're science fictional. These are science fictional concerns influenced by culture about the idea of AI convincing us to create killer pandemics. And now we're going to, this embryonic industry, we're going to submit to put it into the loving embrace of America's administrative state. And I don't think there's enough focus on harnessing this technology rather than what we can do to slow it down.
If you look at the embryonic industry, it is billions of dollars worth of research and development over decades to get to a point where you have a GPT-4. This is not new technology. This is stuff that has been building for a long time. And it is the people who are building
Given where it could go, it's embryonic.
Who are the most negative about its potential.
Given where it could go, it's embryonic.
They're the ones saying we need this. They're the ones saying this could end the world.
Yes, the established players and the incumbents are saying we need this. That's a very old story.
Is saying, here's an executive order based on the Defense Production Act. This is the lightest of light touch. The next president can wipe this away with a pen.
The voluntary commitments a month ago.
This isn't a new regulatory
Now it's a little bit heavier.
I didn't hear the last point.
Well, I understand that you want to live in like anarcho-capitalism, but this saying, hey, you got to do some red teaming exercise and be transparent, and we should figure out how to tell people if they're looking at real images or AI generated ones, which, by the way, I don't even know if it's possible. That's not a lot, right? And it's the industry that has asked for these rules so they can go compete without being worried about being undercut by less moral competitors.
Right.
Well, gentlemen,
I'm not impressed by industry asking to be regulated. You are very impressed by that. I am not. It's a very old story of incumbents saying regulate us, and then we'll use our Washington offices to work and shape that regulation to our advantage. It's an old story. You may never have heard of it, though.
Gentlemen, we will continue this. Good conversation. Nilay Patel and James Pethokoukis, we thank you. And the relatively quiet Eamon Javers. Eamon, thank you as well.